I'm gonna do a unboxing. It's arrived. This is the final sample. Oh gosh. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Jemima and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the process of me creating and self-publishing my first poetry book. I have a lot of feelings. Yeah, I'm very excited about this next step in my journey as a writer, as an author, as I do want to put out a lot more books. So like I said, I'm very excited about this to finally be out, but I do have a lot of other mixed emotions. Like the first thing I want to say is that I feel like I am putting out a book. No, I know I am putting out a book that has a lot of mistakes in it, and at first I was really worried about that, but I really just wanted to get this done. So I'm just like, you know what, I know there are mistakes in it, but it is what it is, you know. When I say that there's a lot of mistakes, it's because I've had 25 poems that I've been working on for 2 years because I knew I was going to put that collection out first. And so with those 25 poems, I'm kind of sick of them. Looking at them just makes me so annoyed because I've stared at them so much and like I've done my best to make sure I think it sounds the way I want it to sound, like it's coming across the way I want it to. However, then I have now added 25 poems in the last 2 months that, you know, I wrote 3 years ago, but I haven't really like looked at it and like spent time going over it, checking it, walking away from it, coming back to it. Yeah, like I haven't spent enough time with it, and in a way it's rushed. I'm being honest, I'm like, oh gosh, I know what I'm doing isn't the smartest. But the reason this happened was initially I thought for the first book, my first poetry collection, I wanted to show you guys kind of like two sides to me and like two sides to my thinking process. And I had this plan of showing you About Us, which was the collection of 25 love poems. And then I had 7,305 Days Old, which was meant to be about like following your dreams and like more personal but not necessarily like lovey-dovey stuff. And I wanted to like put them together and have a poetry book. It was two separate collections with kind of two different themes put together. Yeah, that was what this was. About 40 poems in here. This was the first. This was what I thought I wanted to publish. This was what I thought I wanted to give to you guys to say, this is me. Like I said, I wanted to show two sides. I wanted to show that there's this really passionate, hardworking girl, and then there's this really cringy, obsessive girl. And so yeah, I had this was ready autumn 2020 to come out, and I did it. Like I got it, I was super excited, I was flicking through it, you know, I saw the little things I wanted to change, and I thought, you know, I'd work on it and then I'd order another sample and it would be ready to be on Amazon end of autumn. But I kind of just like threw it away. Yeah, like I kind of just like threw it on my bookshelf and just ran away from it. I had a lot of uncomfortable feelings about it. I wasn't feeling right anymore. I was excited and then I went, ooh. And then over time, I started to realize that the reason why I probably held off from this was because About Us, the collection about love, I didn't think it was finished. I didn't think it was completed, and I always knew that I'd continue and I'll finish the story. And I was hoping the story would go in a certain way. And so with this, when I said the end, it had the end with a question mark on it. However, now when I say the end, it's a full stop, it's a period, it's a done. And so what was holding me back from putting this out was my idea of that person, that relationship that I wanted to work out. I was holding on by not putting this out there, by saying that, you know what, let's see if that gets better. I'm hoping that gets better. I was believing something might happen again, but no, that's not the case. I decided around December 2021, so you know, about a whole year after of making this was ready, that actually I don't want to put two collections together. I'm just gonna have the one collection About Us because I'm gonna use all the poems that I had that I was saving for later, and I'm gonna finish this and I'm gonna end this chapter. Want to forget that part of my life in a way. I wanted my first poetry book in a way to be as personal as possible. This is my breakup song poetry book, and so that was like the main reason that it took so long. However, there were other things that kind of played a part in this 2-year process, like this project being a whole 2.5 years, when, you know, it's such a short poetry book that I was really done quite quickly, but a lot of mishaps made it longer. When you're creating, especially when you are creating something so personal like it is your story, it literally drains your soul. It is emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausting. I was not expecting it to be so painful. It was at times very uncomfortable and tiring and boring. The start of the process was obviously to type out all my poetry out into a document and print it and have it as a paper manuscript, and that was painful. My wrists hurt so much, my eyes hurt, words are literally jumping out in my face, my bum hurt from sitting for so long. It was quite frustrating how boring it was. Like, I have to be honest, like sometimes when you think of something and then you're actually doing it, you don't realize that the doing part is work and quite boring, tedious, mundane work. And then just imagine if this was something that you were doing full time. So like there were periods where I was just focused on just doing it solely, and it was consuming everything, and I did that morning till night. And then there were times when I was working around it, because obviously I had my other life, I had jobs. I was doing it when I had free time. I was tired and my days were a bit long and I wasn't as focused. So just finding the right timing can also be really complicated. And when you do have enough time and when you are doing it, the motivation to stay focused as well is just a lot. Like, you have to be really self-disciplined to be like, you know what, for the next 5 hours, I'm gonna type. For the next 5 hours, I'm gonna draw. And like, no one is watching you. Like, this is a self project. So that is something that I had to learn, and that was something that was quite hard, if I'm honest, for me. And then to add on, like, I'm trying to create, I'm trying to be author, I'm trying to be illustrator, I'm trying to be all these things, but then I'm also having to like set this up, like the whole self-publishing world and the best websites and the best softwares. So there was a lot of trial and error, especially when I was putting out my collection, like trying to find what type of e-commerce would work best to sell it. I had used quite a lot of different platforms before I finally decided on Amazon KDP. It is exhausting, it's draining, like just having to learn so much, and it was quite challenging at times. I feel like the main issue, another thing that kind of like took quite a chunk of my time, was that when I kind of finished the 2 collections and I wanted to put them together, I created it on Canva, and I used the free service of Canva to just play around with the document, make it look really pretty and move the images about in different areas. I wanted it to be very visual, I wanted the font to look a certain way, I wanted the page to look a certain way. I thought, let me make this more fun, spice it up, right? However, when I then tried to use that PDF and upload it on Amazon KDP, hot mess. It was horrible. The formatting was way off, you couldn't see anything, the words were right zoomed in, and that was my fault really, because like I said, I was using the free service on Canva, and so I had wasted all my time creating this whole 45-page collection on Canva that I could not use. And so then I had to get a blank document and just work with a normal document page, make sure it was the right size, and then I just made the image right at the center. Like, I didn't fuss about it, I just wanted to make sure everything would be on the page and out, and that's kind of how I just went through it. We just kept clean and simple now. I had wasted time and that was draining, and because I was so like frustrated with myself about how much time I had spent creating on one platform and trying to get it right and to not have used it, I just was like, oh, this is a sign. Like, I had finished re-uploading and getting it done on KDP now, but I was just like, I was just losing interest very quickly. Any little thing was setting me off. So that was like on the mental side. So that's like how I kind of reached burnout mentally, but I reached burnout probably quicker because I was also draining myself emotionally, because this is my life. Like, I'm reading these poems and like I'm going back to the time, to the scene, to the place, and I'm just sad. I am upset, I am crying, I'm tired of reliving this. It was meant to be a way for me to heal, but because I'm getting so attached, constantly reading this and saying, oh yeah, this happened, it made it so much longer. Like, I could not just let go and be like, okay, yeah, that happened, and move on. I would read it and I'll be like, oh yeah, that happened. There'll be times when I get so embarrassed with myself, there'll be times when I'll be thinking, what if? There'll be times when I'm just cringing, and sometimes I have regret. A full cycle of up and down when it came to looking at my poetry. I think honestly all of that was the real reason that when I did get my first sample initially, I was excited and then threw it on the shelf because I'd already reached burnout. I had already been so sad, been quite depressed throughout the whole process of creating because of the mistakes I was making with trying to understand self-publishing. And because of me reliving my past, like I'm trying to create a project but things weren't going right, I'm stressed, and you know that's part of the process, but it's very exhausting. And now when I walked away from it at the end of 2021, I had times when I looked through it and I just be like, I do want to get this out, but I never made the effort to start it up again. I've mentioned all these reasons about, you know, the struggles I've had with actually creating, but the main thing I think then that stopped me from starting again, even though I'd taken a break and probably rested, was looking at my work and just having a lot of self-doubt in myself and not thinking that I'm good enough, thinking that I wasn't a good writer and that no one cares and that this is embarrassing and I can't believe I'm airing out my business. All sorts of negative thoughts that were coming in and like kind of keeping me stuck. And so even though I think I want to start this up again, I never did try to restart because of the self-doubt and thinking I wasn't good enough. And so like I said in my life update, I tried dating again. In end of autumn, November-ish, December 2021, and that was kind of like a traumatic experience. This is traumatizing and I need a way to not think about the mess that is trying to date again. And so I started working on my project again because I had the motivation to write a breakup song. Between singing and writing, I think I'm definitely a better writer, and so I gave myself the confidence, like the energy burst again, because I wanted to get some things out and I needed to have my mixtape out. And so I got my poetry collection out. I needed to have this breakup song because I'm traumatized and I need an outlet. So that's why this burst of energy came. That's why everything's kind of happening really quickly with the last 25 poems where I just put them. One of the main changes that I have done with this book is that I'm okay with it being about me being obsessive and being needy, because me trying to say this is about love, about him and I, is a bit cringe because, yeah, no, this was not about that. It was unrequited attention. Yeah, when I look back on it now, I think, yeah, that was what this was, wasn't it? Unrequited attention. Yeah, like I've moved past from the situation and I'm looking back on it and I'm like, girl, you know I love you, behave yourself. So like I'm okay, like y'all can laugh at me when you read this, like oh my god. But it is what it is. Like I have to get it out there. That was a phase in my life and it is done, it is finished, nothing more once it is out. And I'm okay with you guys seeing me vulnerable. Like I'm okay with it. I've made peace with it because for me this is growth within and also growth for my writing. Like I need it out there. I want to be a good writer. Like the next time you see work from me, you will have a badass heroine that goes on an amazing adventure and does all that great stuff, because I will be more confident in my writing and I would also be more confident in my growth. I was scared because I'm self-publishing and this is the first impression people will see of me as an author. But I've had to do literally everything. Like I've done the writing, I've done the editing, I've done the graphics and illustration. Like I've literally had to be the jack of all trades and had to teach myself so many things and just managed to flow because I wanted to do this as well as I can. I had to be aware that it's just me and there's only so much I can do and it's like very limited. Like, I want everything to look good, but at the same time, at this point, I honestly don't even know what's wrong with it anymore because I've been staring at it for so long. I'm too attached to this project. Like editing is especially hard when you're the person who's wrote it. You can't necessarily be as objective as you'd like to be. However, one thing I am super proud of in terms of this process and in terms of learning is just like, come on, look at this front covers. Between this one and then the final one. With the front covers, you could just at least see that there has been some progress. With my skills, like at least it looks slightly more professional now, I think. I changed the actual illustrations from the first one to this final product because I just didn't like the way it looked on the paper, because initially a lot of them were hand drawings that I just scanned on. However, now I actually drew them on the computer. So I've learned new things, I've learned new skills, and it's been really fun, really hard, really challenging, but it's fun to like see that, oh, okay, I have improved and this looks better. I'm growing, like I'm progressing. That's what this whole journey is about. It's not about perfection, it is about progressing. I did this better than I did this, and the final product is better than this. I'm very happy with that. I'm getting better. I know this book is not perfect, but it's a start and it will show me what to work on for next time. That's why I'm being really open and being very honest about this journey and this process. Because honestly, the biggest critique we have is ourselves. I judge myself so hard when it comes to creating. Like, you just want to do something, but the voice is so loud within you. And like, this was simply just me wanting to make a project and be like, yeah, I wrote a book. I did that. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do since I was a very young child, and I've done it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm very happy to know that I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing, and I'm learning and I'm getting better at it. And so if you have something you want to share, and if you want to release a project, release a project. Don't let the self-doubt, the not good enough, the burnout, or the challenges stop you. Like, it will be heavy, it will be a hard process, but it is worth it. Like, it's just something you can pat yourself on the back for. I'm doing this to encourage others that it doesn't have to be big. Like, you can start small and it can grow over time. I'm starting with a 50 poem collection. The next time I'm gonna try 100 poems. The next time I'm actually gonna try a fiction short story. The possibilities endless. Like, if you have something you want to share, if you want to create something and you want to have a connection and build a community around that thing, then do it. Start your project and then release your project. Don't get caught up in comparison and perfectionism, because you will go insane and you will have a lot of unfinished projects, and that will not make you feel good. It's also a shame, because there are people who probably want to hear your story. No matter how embarrassing or cringe you feel like it might be, as long as it is your truth and you think it can help someone else, definitely get it out there. Like, don't keep it held within. And so be brave, it's your turn next. Put out your project, I dare you. If you want to stay up to date with my poetry collection, check out the links below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring in the notification bell so you know when I post. Bye. Okay. I'm just like taking it in. And look what the pictures look like. Okay, well, yeah. This is my poetry book about needy. Looks good. This is right. We got there in the end. We got there. Okay, I'm going now. Goodbye.